McDonald's, the fast food franchise that we just can't seem to get enough of. We consume their food so much to the point that we don't even realize when we're eating or drinking something from them. But I have a question for you. As much as we enjoy grabbing a bite to eat from there, when was truly the last time a McDonald's ad made you actually want to go and eat there? A reasonable consensus backed up by years of declining viewership as well as poorer and poorer ratings for each one year by year is that for the last 20 or so odd years, the company has prioritized the message or feeling of needing to eat there rather than the previous feeling of genuinely wanting to go and eat there. Not only that, but to further add to their downfall presents a trend of McDonald's slowly losing their creative touches when it comes to the advertising department little by little over the course of the last 20 years. Since the late 90s, it's safe to say the commercials for the company have seemed void of life, creativity, and passion. Corporate's forced implementation of pop culture fads which are rammed down us consumers' throats just seem either very cringy or just plain unappealing. There for the sole purpose of meeting a quota or fulfilling a basic criteria that panders to mostly children in these modern times. To give you a clearer idea of what exactly I'm trying to convey, we need some context, in this case a few examples that perfectly paints modern McDonald's to the T. Now, due to the large amounts of copyrighted music that they use in their ads now, I've been unable to add the around 10 examples of what I want to use for this video in a montage form. I did, however, find 2 ads that avoided immediate copyright detection, or at least I really hope so, that would make you facepalm very, very hard. Take a look for yourself.
Where's Dad? I'm hungry.
Honey, I'm home!
Call the neighbors. We're gonna have a party and it's gonna be epic.
With 1 in 5 chances to win, I'm feeling lucky.
You should probably read the official rules before you start celebrating.
Monopoly.
I know a thing or two about chicken, and I love these new honey barbecue glazed tenders. Maybe because they're sweet, like me. He's just gonna love this. Adorbs. Or maybe because they're spicy, like me.
Thank you for the sweater.
You're welcome.
Introducing McDonald's Sweet and Spicy Honey Barbecue Glazed Tenders. Made with all white meat chicken, hand-tossed and glazed to order. They're the perfect combination of sweet and spicy, just like Grandma.
Has it started?
Now, of course this wasn't always the case. Believe it or not, there was a time when McDonald's prioritized want more than need, a very basic yet effective concept. It started during the Great Burger Wars of the 1980s, a time when McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's competed for dominance of the fast food industry, in which each restaurant chain launched their own ad campaigns against one another in order to lure consumers to their restaurants. Now, at the same time, McDonald's was experiencing a period of substantial and rapid expansion of their franchise, like with the introduction of the McChicken, the McNuggets, and ready-to-eat salads. But in order to stay on top of the competition and remain the king of the fast food industry, McDonald's had to play it risky with their own ads, a careful strategy of not attacking the competition, but instead rather focusing on promoting themselves to their wide range of demographics who watch television. And I'll be the first to say, they did it. They really did it. McDonald's created what I feel is one of the best fast food commercial campaigns of all time. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mac Tonight.
When the clock strikes 6:30, babe, time to head for golden lights. Hey, it's a good time for the great taste dinner at McDonald's. It's Mac Tonight. Come on, make it Mac Tonight.
I'm gonna skip the history of this campaign because I just want to focus on why it was so good. The first reason being, McDonald's actually went all out on this. As you can tell from each segment in the campaign, nothing is computer generated, as 99% of things are nowadays, which, to be honest, takes away from the sort of realistic and nostalgic experience that you get from viewing. The background, the burger, the fries, the buildings, virtually everything was painstakingly built, electrically wired, and painted from the ground up, giving us that old school vibe that we just don't see anymore. The segments themselves, which cost around $500,000 to produce each, were abstract, jazzy, and a far cry from Ronald McDonald's 1970s Technicolor adventures, truly the signal of a new age. As for the character that the viewer follows throughout each of these 30-second segments, well, at the time, Max Headroom was an advertising and cultural phenomenon, a bizarrely sculptured character sporting shades and exaggerated features. So, to capitalize on the success of that whole campaign, McDonald's borrowed ideas from Max and crafted the moon-faced Mac Tonight, one who existed in a weird, cloudy, yet strangely inviting, more on that later, dreamscape who could appeal to adults unlike Ronald the Clown and reinforce the idea that McDonald's was the place to be after hours. How about that catchy jingle? I just know it's going to be stuck in your head after viewing this video. It's a tweaked version of 1958's Mac the Knife by Bobby Darin, with the lyrics changed to suit that of the McDonald's theme, including various references to their menu. It served as nostalgia for baby boomers, those born in 1945 and through the 50s, since the genre of that jazz in particular boomed in that era, and most importantly reawakened said genre for the 80s. It was fairly important to really capture the attention of this key demographic, as well as the new young adults of the 80s, as that's where the profits were primarily made. The 1970s was that about establishing the company as a family-friendly chain, and now this new era prompted a return to their base demographic, adults, and took advantage of that by perfectly incorporating the introduction of 24-hour service at McDonald's with the Mac Tonight campaign. Finally, and most importantly, pretty much the whole reason this video came to be, was comparing this fantastic ad campaign to that of its modern predecessors. The main difference, aside from the practice of now shoving dabs, whips, nays, and every other now outdated fad and meme in the advertising, which makes it seem like a big, lifeless, and anti-imaginative corporate husk, there's also a distinct lack of a warm, inviting feeling that the old commercials nailed so perfectly, which brings me to my second reason. That feeling directly contributes to the feel or look of something tied to nostalgia. If you wanted to make something memorable back in the 80s, you had to have visuals, audio, and the overall feel of the ad nailed to the absolute T, or perfectly balanced. 3 harmonized golden rules. Something in which I feel you'd agree with when I state that Mac Tonight not only utilized these 3 things, but it actually set the standard for other advertisements that followed suit. In conclusion, or should I say in retrospect, Mac Tonight ads remain frozen in time, gifted with that 80s magic and creativity that we just don't see anymore. It defined what it meant to be truly effective at creating an advertisement at a time when competition was high and risks had to be taken in order to achieve that. It's a shame that McDonald's advertising division has fallen off these past 20 years, but there's always that hope that one day they'll look back at what made their advertisements so effective and memorable to this very day and return back to form. Thanks for watching.